everyone, my name is Mohit Kachchhi. I come from Vadodara, Gujarat. Prior joining to XIMB, I have done my BTech in mechanical engineering. I have no work experience and I have done my summer internship with Cummins, India. So during my summer internship, I had the project of, improving the product, devise a marketing plan in order to improve product communication and market engagement in their on-highway aftermarket segment. Thank you. Yeah, so my internship was basically divided into 3 phases. First being the marketing research and the competitor analysis in that space. Second being the qualitative and the quantitative research. And third being the analysis and devising a marketing plan. So my daily routine used to be going out, talking to the customers and gathering their voices and, finally talking to the various stakeholders in the value chain. And secondly, analyzing those inputs and then come up with a detailed marketing plan in order to, improve their sales. So I believe that the main point wherein the class lessons and the practical learning differentiates is the challenges that you face during implementing those. So overcoming those challenges helped me improve or get in depth in that particular concept, and which helped me increase the knowledge base in that domain drastically. And secondly, also my professional communication skills and communicating with various stakeholders also improved a lot during my internship at Cummins. So the curriculum here at XIMB is all about pushing your boundaries and thinking outside the box. So there are no such courses that I would suggest, but one should have a strong hold on the marketing and the communication subjects that are taught here in the first year, and especially the subject called marketing research. This would definitely help you get a fruitful outcome in your internship. Yeah, so Cummins being into the B2B segment and B2B marketing is altogether a different ball game. So this includes, it follows the archaic methods like, going out, talking to the customers in order to, understand their problems and maintaining the relationships with them. So this helped me upskill my communication skills a lot, which also helped me during my final placements. So firstly, I think that they heavily were focusing on the approach that I was going to follow for the 2 months of my internship. And, I was asked to plan and present this to the whole team about my plan that I am going to follow in order to cater to the problem. And secondly, they were looking for a fresh perspective towards the problem. And so I think that my perspective towards looking at the problem was also taken into consideration while analyzing my performance. So, yeah. So, firstly, as I said before, that, the approach that I was following was heavily mentored. So, post my internship, I had a very detail-oriented approach towards any problem. And secondly, as it was my first corporate experience, I learned to talk to various professionals and, how to communicate in an organization. So it helped me hone my professional communication skills. Yes. So constantly engage with your mentors, managers, and don't restrict yourself from talking to people in the organization. This will help you get better insights for your project. And secondly, being a fresher, it'll be a very, learning curve for you in the 2 months. So stay committed to your task, and this will get you a better and fruitful outcome out of your project. So, yes.
Hello, my name is Tavish Siddiqui, and I did my graduation from Lucknow University in BCom Honours and specialized in financial operations and services. Thereafter, I of course joined XIMB to pursue MBA here. And my summer internship was with MotoCorp in their Harley Davidson business unit. During my SIP at Harley Davidson, my role was basically to assist the marketing team in developing and executing marketing campaigns to understand our target audience better, since it is a premium brand, and come up with various new ideas to create that brand awareness, to create that knowledge among the consumers that this brand exists, and they have to, if they are a motorcycle rider and they love riding, they have to even give it a try and come to the dealership once. So my day would start like conducting a research on the consumer behaviors and market trends. Since Harley Davidson holds in high regard its HOG community, Hawk community, which is the Harley owners group. So I was basically involved in talking with them, understanding their pain points, their preferences about the different models there are in India. And after that, after the research, I would talk with my team and have a team meetings where we would share our insights, share new ideas, and collaborate with other team members. And during my internship, I was also required to create some content because I was working with them for digital market initiatives as well, such as a social media campaign. So after that, there was a weekly catch-up with my mentor, and in that we had to talk with them about the progress, the overall status of the project. And with my mentor, it was basically about discussing, and he would always initiate discussions about various marketing concepts, and it was a very healthy and productive discussion, and that is how my day went during my SIP. I found that transitioning from in-class to on-field was a significant step in my professional development, because we are taught a lot of concepts, theories, frameworks, but when you have to actually apply it into real world, it requires a lot of understanding. And for that, like, let's just take example of a subject we have, communication, which we are taught in the first year of MBA. It's a really important subject, and we are taught many effective communication strategies. But during my internship, I actually learned how to put those strategies into practice. Since I had to communicate with a lot of stakeholders, be it superiors, be it my colleagues, be it the community members, or the customers who step foot inside the dealership. So I had to tailor my communication accordingly. And another thing that was a major learning point for me was to analyze problems. We are taught many problem solving frameworks in our MBA. And what the organization, what they're majorly looking for is the interns to analyze the problems from the root and develop a structured approach to how to tackle them. They're not necessarily looking for a solution, rather a structured approach so that you can tackle it in an efficient manner. To be honest, there was no specific course that was a prerequisite for the internship, but I would say that the industry-specific knowledge was really important, because having a true understanding of the motorcycle culture, the motorcycle industry, the supply chain, the manufacturing process was really important, and that is crucial to understand consumers better. If you know your product well, you can know your consumers well. So there were many performance indicators on which I was analyzed. Brand awareness and customer satisfaction were the top, because Harley Davidson is a brand which has a strong identity and a loyal following. So I had to be aware to how to leverage that emotional connection and in turn increase sales in Indian market. So we were required to come up with marketing campaigns that resonated with the hog community members, because there were various events which were taking place. There were various meet and greets happening between motorcycle riders all around India. So for me, those two were the major performance indicators. And then since I worked on a digital initiative for them as well, they had a social media campaign. I was working for them. I was curating content. So I was also analyzed on certain digital marketing metrics, and we had a weekly catch up with our mentor who was the head of marketing for Harley Davidson. So that weekly catch up was a way of ascertaining my progress during the internship. The time after SIP and before your final placement is definitely a crucial one, and like everyone would suggest, the major step you have to take to develop your career is to keep yourself updated. Stay up to date on the latest trends, market trends, and consumer behavior changes that are going around in your field. And plus, taking on online courses and certifications is also a great way to demonstrate your commitment towards your professional aspect. And taking on live projects is also a great way to learn hands-on experience, gain practical knowledge, and add more to your portfolio of knowledge. So these three things I would say are really, really important for someone who's going to start ahead in their career and going to sit for companies which are coming in for the interview. So you have to keep on practicing, refreshing, staying up to date so that your skills are never out of date and you are ready to hit the ground running when the companies start flooding in. The significant learning from my internship, I would say that the power of branding. So working with Harley Davidson made me realize the power of branding and how to leverage that emotional connection you have with the consumers. So while I was working for them, I had to talk with a lot of Hawk community members. And when you talk with your people who are there in the community, who would buy and who are actually very passionate about your product, you get to gain a deeper insight in how their mind works and what are the models which they prefer and how are they performing in the Indian market. So I would say that is one of the major learning from my SIP. Another would be to be adaptable and flexible. A lot of times in internships you are bound to face some setbacks, some challenges, but how you deal with them and how to change your approach as and when needed is a very important thing to keep in mind. Another would be to have a thorough understanding of the consumer mind. So having a thorough consumer research was one of the major learnings from my SIP. So some of my advices would be to be proactive. I mean, some of the most successful interns are those who take up initiative, who ask for feedback, who are looking for opportunity to contribute and to learn and to grow. So don't be afraid to ask questions, seek out feedback and learn many things as possible. And don't be afraid to try on new things which may be out of your area of expertise, but you should be comfortable in that. And I would say that it's okay to make mistakes, keep on making mistakes, keep on learning from them, and be very vocal about what you're learning and be vocal with your mentors, with your managers, with your colleagues, so that while you're working through your internship, you also build relationships which will help you in the future and which will always be something to remember.
My name is Piyush Kumar Nayak. I did my BTech in Mechanical Engineering from Indira Gandhi Institute of Technology, Sarang. Post that, I went to do my job in Vedanta Aluminum Limited, where I was an assistant manager, and I used to work there for 4 years. With that, I moved to XIMB, and I did my internship in Tata Steel, and will be getting. And I also got a PPO in Tata Steel, so I'll be joining them post my MBA is over. Since it was a semi process, it was a hybrid model. So for the first half, we got to know that we will be having an online scenario over our internship period. And once we moved into the system, we discussed with our seniors and all, and we asked them that we need to actually learn the thing and all. So there was a system which was made for us that will be moving to our locations for 2 week period. So I had my internship off in the offline mode for 2 weeks. Post and before that and post that, I had it in the online mode. So I'll walk you through it. Basically, it started in a very normal way. So every morning I will have a meeting with my mentor. We'll have a discussion regarding how much we have, like how much of information we have got and how much we have to get in order to complete the project. Post that, there were meetings with the clients where we had to discuss and tell them that what are our requirements and what do we try to get from them. Apart from that, in the offline scene, we used to have travels because we generally had to move, I think, around 50 to 60 kilometers in order to meet our clients, in order to understand the roles, in order to understand what kind of information can be collected. And eventually, we used to end the day and like by coming to the office, by calculating our overall assumptions, informations, and then we'll retire to our locations. Oh, it is very, very high actually, I would say, because in class, it's something which is just about how much you are learning over the subjects. But when you go to the field and when you understand that there are certain things which you also need to use apart from the books, that is something which actually counts and that is something which actually everyone needs to learn. So when you are learning from the books, you learn the points, you learn the details and all. But when you go to the offline track, it is something which is a completely new thing. So not every knowledge that you gain from the book is going to come up and help you out. There is something which you need to channel among yourself. There is something which you need to build up. And yes, obviously that you will be learning from something from the books and you will get to implement that. But apart from that, when it comes to offline process, there is something extra which is coming out of the books as well. So I would say that do go through the academics, do learn about it. But when it comes to the offline process, just don't stick only to the academics part. There is something out of the box too, and that depends on your headspace and how you make the most out of it. So basically, when we joined our internship, we even had asked our seniors and all that how or what are the resources which we need to understand or like have a prerequisite knowledge so that when we'll be going over there, it will be easy for us. But like as I would say, it was not that much. I didn't miss anything, to be honest. I didn't miss any single resource because whatever we were taught or whatever we had gone through before the internship, like in our first year, everything was actually helpful. Like for example, I would say that the Excel, the PPT, these are the two most important things which one needs to work on. So if you have a good knowledge or if you don't even have a good knowledge on Excel and PowerPoint, I think it will be the most important resource which will be helping you out in your internship period. So brush up on these skills. Apart from that, I don't think there is a bigger need or there is a much bigger requirement of any kind of prerequisite learning because everything you go onto the field is something which you will be learning completely in a new sphere. So whatever things which you learn from the first year academics, whatever things you get to know from the information which is being given by the professors, I think those will be enough. Apart from that, just as I reiterated, your skills on Excel and PowerPoint are the most important thing which will be driving you through in your internship period as well. Oh, it helps a lot. I would say for me, since I had a work-ex of around 4 years, it did help me in connecting with my mentors, as in they understood that this person has some knowledge of industry, has the knowledge of how the work is done. And so when I went to Tata Steel and tried to work on my project or try to contact with the clients and all, so there was a minimum amount of knowledge which one needs to have to talk or to connect with people. So when we worked in Vedanta, like when I was working in Vedanta, there were lots of dealings with the clients and third parties and so many people. So when we have that dealings, when we have that conversation or communication, there are lots of things which is developed inside you. Like you don't need to like fear. You don't have to fear, or you don't create that amount of misunderstanding as well sometimes, because you are clear on the information which you want to get, you are clear on the information which you wish to give as well. So as I would say that WorkX did help me a lot, because when I would give an example also. So when I was working in Pune, it was an offline location and I moved to one of my client's office. So it was easy to connect with him because he understood my work profile, where I was from and all. And then our discussions the engagement of the discussion was increasing, and it was very easy for me to collect the information from them also regarding my project, because that level of discussion, that level of engagement actually helped each other out in clearing out the disturbances and everything. So that is how WorkX do actually help me in getting my internship driven. Okay, so the performance indicators on which I was analyzed was, first of all, like I had mentioned earlier, how I present. Because as I entered inside Tata Steel, there was just one thing which was said by my mentor, that you need to be very, very critical about how you, or about what you are presenting. So the first thing was how much of information that I'm getting onto the table. That was the first thing. The second thing which is coming up is how diligently or how accurately I am presenting it. Because when we are actually bringing an idea onto the table, and we are discussing it with our CXOs who will be analyzing our projects, these people are very talented and these people have knowledge of such industries and all. You just can't faff your way out over there. So you need to have that much of information, you need to have that validity in those information. So that is very, very necessary. So you just have to think that all these things, including your presentation skills, including your way of presenting things, including all those information that you are bringing onto the table, are onto the mark. So these were some of those parameters on which I was being my performance indicator was analyzed on. Oh, it helps a lot. I would say for me, since I had a WorkX of around 4 years, it did help me in connecting with my mentors, as in they understood that this person has some knowledge of industry, has the knowledge of how the work is done. And so when I went to Tata Steel and tried to work on my project or try to contact with the clients and all, so there was a minimum amount of knowledge which one needs to have to talk or to connect with people. So when we worked in Vedanta, like when I was working in Vedanta, there were lots of dealings with the clients and third parties and so many people. So when we have that dealings, when we have that conversation or communication, there are lots of things which is developed inside you. Like you don't need to fear. You don't have to fear, or you don't create that amount of misunderstanding as well sometimes, because you are clear on the information which you want to get, you are clear on the information which you wish to give as well. So as I would say that WorkX did help me a lot, because when I would give an example also. So when I was working in Pune, it was an offline location and I moved to one of my client's office. So it was easy to connect with him because he understood my work profile, where I was from and all. And then our discussions the engagement of the discussion was increasing, and it was very easy for me to collect the information from them also regarding my project, because that level of discussion, that level of engagement actually helped each other out in clearing out the disturbances and everything. So that is how WorkX do actually help me in getting my internship driven. Oh, there were lots of learnings from my internship process. The first thing was how you deal with your clients. Because when I was in Vedanta, I was dealing with the third party contractors and all. But when it came to Tata Steel and all, when I was dealing with these people were very big, as in like they were actually bringing in lots of resources, lots of finances as well to Tata Steel. So there is a huge difference, or there you can say that there is a like a hell and heaven difference between how you talk to people over there. So the first thing that I got to know was enhancement of my communication skills. Number two was how you collect the data, because see, one thing which we know or which we get to know from this college is we have to understand the book, we have to get the information, and we have to get it out in various other fields or wherever we are going for our internships. But there is a method in which you present, there is a method in how you speak, there is a method of all these things. So that is one more thing which Tata Steel helped me out, and actually you can say that it pushed me in order to get that best out of me so that I can be able to present them in according. So these are some of those two things which I actually got it from there. First of all, I would like to congratulate the people who would be joining Tata Steel for their summer internship. The first thing that I would like to say to the fellow interns or the juniors, that be very, very clear on your approach, because you people will be engaging with the industry stalwarts. So when they will be listening to you, or when they will be getting the information out of you, they should not find that you are actually having some problems or issues in giving that information to them. So you need to be very, very clear on your approach to how you are getting the data onto the table. Number two is be very clear with your mentor. Your mentor is going to be a very big support system when you go to your work location. So when you are actually dealing with them, be very, like, I wouldn't say casual, that will be very much an off route in the process of internship and all. But you need to be having a relationship which brings you information, which gives you information, and which also makes you a better person overall. So apart from that, you need to be very, very critical with whatever conversation you are having with the clients and all. So it's better that you need to get all these things sorted and very much in the same track so that you people can sell it. So that's all my wish for the next year or the upcoming juniors who will be interning with the Tata Steel, and also for the people who will be joining. Same.